Going to be putting together an AR. This is for, well, actually for my best friend in the world, my dad. It's kind of a testimony to the craze that happened, because he's been hunter and, you know, very adept at handling firearms, and I wouldn't say he's taught me everything I know, but he definitely taught me what I needed to know to get interested and to start out and to do it right. Thank you, Dad. So anyways, building up this M4 for him, and whenever all this craziness started, he decided that he better go ahead and get one while he could. I think it was as much as anything because he's got a little defiant streak in him. That's where I get it from. And he didn't like being told. He hadn't said this to me, but I'm sure he didn't like someone telling him that he can't have something. As a free man, and you can't have something like that. I mean, who do these people think they are? They're so arrogant. I guarantee if the shit hit the fan and one of these mass shooters or somebody happened to be shooting up the place where they were at, they're going to pray and wish that they had someone there, a good guy with a gun. Not to be cliche on the statement, but it's the truth. I'm not going to try and get onto a tangent. When I didn't have any other tape, and I used duct tape on this. I should have known better. So I've got some sticky left over from the duct tape. I'll go get some Goof Off or some Goo Gone, whichever one's the orange based. I'm not a big fan of the one that's a solvent based unless you have to, but when I say solvent, I mean the harsh chemical. So anyways, I'll go ahead and I'll talk about what this gun's going to consist of. 16-inch phosphate barrel here. It's an M4 contour. This is not a chrome line barrel. I'm not necessarily a big fan of chrome line barrels. Chrome line barrels are inherently less accurate than, now granted, there may be some space age process of chrome plating that someone's using on their barrels that are $1,000 a piece, but generally speaking, a normal chrome line barrel is less accurate because they can't get the chrome plating to take 100% evenly all the way inside the bore of that barrel. So you get imperfections throughout the barrel. Whereas with a regular steel barrel or a stainless steel barrel, they have control over that whenever they do the rifling, or if they're, no matter how they're doing it, hammer forging, if they're drawing it, the mandrel, whatever they're using to do it, they've got control over that, the inside of that barrel, that bore. And so the non-chrome line barrels and a non-stainless steel, just a regular old steel barrel, they're very accurate. They're good barrels. You just need to keep them clean. You just need to keep them oiled. You need to do what you should be doing anyways. Having a stainless steel barrel is not an excuse for not doing what you need to do. Excuse me while I answer this phone. So, here we go. Gonna kind of do a little bit of an unboxing here to just show off the things that's going to go in it. And, it's an AR. It's not like there aren't 1,000 how-to videos out there. I'm not really going to get too particular about, this is how this is done, this is how this is done. I'm just going to kind of show the parts, show it going together a little bit. Most of my videos are really lengthy because I try and do videos that are lengthy like that, I try and make them about guns that there aren't much stuff out there on, or things like that, things where there's a little bit, or it's a little bit unique, and I don't want to lose anything. That's why a lot of my videos are long. On this, it's an AR. I mean, Lord help, there are so many videos on how to do it, and they are better videos than what I could possibly do. So we're gonna be running a carbon fiber forearm. I'm gonna run a Magpul Mo buttstock. And told you about the barrel. There's a misconception out there. A lot of people don't realize that about the chrome line barrels, what I was talking about. And so the thing is that you end up running into a situation where a gun that has a chrome line barrel for resale is a lot more coveted than a non-chrome line barrel. And I believe it's out of ignorance. It's out of people just genuinely not knowing. Got our upper. Our Made in USA buffer tube. That is a mil spec. Have our lower. Charging handle. Nickel boron bolt carrier. I'm going to run the Stag 3G, their proprietary 3G muzzle brake on this. It's one that came off of my 3G. It's far superior to a birdcage, and I already had it. And being that it's my dad's gun, I can always swap out something else for him. If he doesn't like it, no big deal. If I wanted it back, I could go get it. Washer for that. Buffer. I'm going to run the QMS trigger system in this. It's basically a mil-spec trigger, but it's been, all mating surfaces have been cleaned up. Going to run a Samson gas block. Our castle nut for our buffer tube. And I'm not going to pull out all of these parts. These are all just all kinds of the small parts. I'm not real big on buying the kit that has your hand grip, everything all in it. Which, by the way, the hand grip that I'm going to be putting on this one is going to be a hand grip. It's a factory, just a run-of-the-mill cheap one, but it's one that I stippled and done some work to. Really, really nice. And then another nice thing, and this is what I try and run on any of my guns that my base guns that I build. I try and build them as a baseline with nothing less than a QMS trigger in there. And I always try and run a Nitromet gas tube, or a gas tube that is basically, it's coated, nickel boron coated, nitro, Teflon, something. Because that cuts down on a lot of the maintenance that you would need to do over time, because it keeps all that carbon and everything from sticking and building up inside the gas tube. It doesn't eliminate it, but it helps to keep it down. Really important, because not everyone's going to pull their gas block off and get everything get down inside of there. They're not going to tear it down that far. My dad's not one that would do that. Of course, he just had me do it. But yeah, that's the basic parts there that we're going to run on this. Just wanted to show them, and when I come back, we'll be in the process of putting it all together. said I'm not big on kits. This is a kit. This is a pin detent kit. It really simplifies things. This is actually a Bushmaster kit. But all the other stuff, I just get them individually. I have springs in stock, and so I make my own little packages for the springs. I just keep them in stock. So, always got the springs that I need there. Okay. The one thing that I do need to go grab is my trigger guard, and it's right over here. Well, it must have fallen. I'll worry about that in a minute then. Everybody knows your normal lower. You got your lower. No big deal. Get all of your parts out. Now, I've got different things that will hold this. I like to kind of keep it here on the bench for this stage of it. And well, like I say, I'm not going to do a video on how to do this. Just going to show, here I got this out, I'm doing this. I'm going to clip away here, and then when I come back, there's going to be some stuff done. I'm just going to show just as the thing goes together. That way I'm going to keep the length of the video down. Something I want to show if you guys are installing your own, doing your own builds and everything. Whenever you install these two parts, it's easier if you install your magazine catch and release, your magazine catch and release first, because I mean, you can install this first, but if you go ahead and get this in there, then this is not in your way as you swing this. The other thing that you need to do is something to watch for is how you know you've got this threaded in enough turns is whenever you press this magazine release button with your thumb, like how you would normally press it, you look in here, and if you see light right there, if this catch protrudes past this area to where it could actually spin, then you need to go another turn. You go a turn at a time once you get down there, to where whenever you press this button, you do not see any daylight in between, underneath there. I'm going to show this part. The deal with it is that whenever you get this, push this pin through here, it's absolutely imperative that you have either your trigger guard in there or something shimmed in there, because this tang can break off fairly easily. This is the Magpul enhanced trigger guard. It does come with hardware. It'll come with a screw, and I don't know, the way that they do this is they've got a screw here that only goes through one side in the front. I know it's proven that it works, but it just seems to me that I would rather have something that went through both sides. You see here in the front here, I turn it around, see, you got, when I say both sides, let me clarify. If you look, let me get it to focus here, I'm sorry guys. Focus, there we go. Alright, see there, you've got your hole there. There's no hole back here on this side, but if you look right there, you'll see it's got an indentation. And so it should have a pin that goes all the way through there, but the way that the Magpul is set up is you just run a screw and it only goes about halfway through. I would prefer that it go all the way into the other side, but evidently it's a strong enough design that they don't have issues. The little grub screw that comes with it has a little spot of blue Loctite on it, and so that is it's a good thing. It already comes with a little Loctite and everything already set up, and so I recommend to go ahead and put this screw in first, and that'll just help keep your trigger guard in where it needs to be while you get knock your pins in. You're trying to get that to start threading into that polymer, so you got to push to get it to start in there. It's not like it's got threads cut in it. Sometimes it doesn't want to start. You just got to work on it. It's not a hard operation. Just don't get discouraged whenever you go and start on it and it doesn't want to go in. I can't tell you how many of these I've done, and this one, you know, it doesn't want to start. So I mean, if you're doing this for the first time, haven't really messed with it, just don't get discouraged. What I'm going to do now is I'll go ahead and back it back out a little bit, and we'll see. Yeah, you can see right there where it's kind of off to the side just a little. So what I'm going to do, since it's not wanting to start like that, I'm going to start it back here. Well, good Lord. It surely would have helped if I'd have grabbed the right. No wonder it wasn't starting. My Allen wrench wasn't the right size. Hold on. Alright, shit guys. No wonder it wouldn't go. We're going to try this again, just the way that I had the first time. Sometimes if you need to, you might take the screw and start it outside of this just to make you a little bit of threads. But it really should not be necessary. There we go. It's starting to thread in now. And you can go ahead and tighten this down because it doesn't squeeze on it. You don't have to worry about it not letting you move the tail the way you need to. I like to screw it in to where it's just a hair below flush of this right here. Get it to focus in for you guys. I have seen these where the hole is a little bit different depths. So that's why I say I always try and put it where it's just a little bit below flush. Alright, make sure it's all cleaned out. I'm going to clean up the one side of this. I'll show you what I've done whenever I get back. I usually take roll pins and I clean them up on one side. Makes it a little easier going through. Tends to keep from marring everything. Here's another thing. It's good to use roll pin punches. They've got a little nipple on them, different sizes. And what I've done here is I've taken primer trays and used them to shim everything up. I don't have one of the blocks yet. I just never have bothered getting one because I've always been able to accomplish what I needed to very easily and without bothering with the block. I use blocks for some things, but I just never have thought about it when I was going to order because I've always had that need taken care of. May look into it sometime. Go ahead and check everything, make sure that I'm not bouncing off. There we go. Is that done? Now we're going to do the trigger. The AGL Defense trigger system. The way that it comes with, of course, a moisture absorbing piece of paper there, whatever it is. But it comes like this. It comes with a slave pin. The slave pin is used to put through your disconnector and your trigger. It's short, and that way you can go ahead and set this unit down in there and then use the pin to drive this one out and through the other side. I've never used anything like that. I just push the push the disconnector down and go to it. But anyways, it comes with it. And so the way this is set up and what makes this one nice is that you see that surface right there. It's been completely, it's slick as a baby's butt. And that right there is your main lockup point here. I'm trying not to drop it. Right here you can see the shiny part. That is the other part. That's your sear engagement point of this trigger system right there. When you pull a trigger, it drops down and the hammer goes. And that's what sets this trigger apart, is that has been lightened up. Now it uses standard strength springs, as far as I know. These are standard strength. I don't like the use of a lightened hammer spring. I like a full power hammer spring because it will give you a higher probability for lighting off all types of primers. So, good thing to have in there. I'm just running a little lube in through the hammer. Do. Trying to keep out of the way so you guys can see. There we go. That's a nice little trigger. Ooh, didn't mean to do that. Whenever you put a trigger in, you want to test for a couple of things. You want to take your hammer, see that it will cock. With your hand on the hammer, give a little bit of slack, but don't let it slam. Pull your trigger. There we go. It almost slammed. Now, once you've done that, hold your trigger down without letting the trigger back up. Push your hammer back down and see that it catches. Now, since you don't know if the trigger is going to work properly yet, keep your thumb in the way and let off the trigger. Make sure it catches. And then you should be able to pull the trigger and let it go. That's your reset. Now, cock it on the AR. Most triggers you have to have the hammer cocked to go to safe. Flip to safe. Test. Trigger works. I use a little blue Loctite underneath there, seal everything up. I use blue Loctite on, this is one that I've removed. I use blue Loctite around the barrel nut there, just a little bit of it, just have a thin coating. And then I use red Loctite on the barrel nut itself to the threads to the upper receiver. There are lots of people that disagree with that practice. It's worked well for me. And that's what I do. We're going to do kind of an ad-lib unboxing here. I planned on throwing this in with some other stuff, but I guess I'll do that in editing. I actually need what's in here, so I'm going to go ahead and just open them up and show you. Make sure there's nothing else in here. Alright. Just some lathe tooling. Lathe tooling. You know, for that lathe that I don't have. This is my precision machining. Yes, I know it's wobbling. All it is just to turn it down a little. Not worried about any precision. Well, here is the turned down part. Not the smoothest in the world, but it now fits properly, whereas before it wouldn't go in. So ghetto or not, I don't care. I got the job done. There we go, got the AR all finished up. I gotta clean it a little bit. Had to throw a riser underneath the sight there. This sight's not going to be the one that stays on it. I just had a little cheap UTG riser that I was able to put it on. It just had to be brought up a little bit. It was a little low. But it's, excuse me for walking in front of the camera. Got the nickel boron bolt carrier. And very, very happy with it so far. Can't wait to shoot it. Here's one of the rifles I just built. I'll tell you something that I have noticed, man, that I really like about this setup. Carbon fiber, handguard, everything. This gun's got a full mag, not chambered. Can't shoot you guys through there anyways. But you see the way that I'm holding this gun. Full mag, chambered. I mean, there's a little bit of weight to it, but not much. I mean, it's bang, bang, bang. It's a extremely easy handling firearm. A couple things could have done to lighten it up even more, but man, I mean, there's hardly anything to it. I mean, my Stag, the 3G, you know, it's a stainless steel barrel. It's an 18-inch barrel. It's got you know, Samson handguard on it, which is pretty lightweight for a 15-inch handguard. The buttstock's not too light, but it's balanced well. It's a really well balanced gun. This one is front heavy because it's got the barrel out there. There's not much back here. It is front heavy, whereas my 3G is very nicely balanced. And so a lot of times shooting, you know, you're better off to have something balanced well than overall lightweight or whatever. But this gun is just going to be a dream to take out and play with. This will be a really, really good gun for like my wife to shoot because it's so lightweight. Because they have a hard time, you know, women especially without that upper body strength, they have a hard time holding up a gun that's got some weight to it. And you see them with the hips forward, you know, doing that deal. Or, you know, a lot of people, you know, of course that's a way that was taught. And even with this little gun, this gun it's so light that you can effectively fire this gun like that, and I can whip it right around and go from target to target. Whereas with a heavier gun, part of the reason why you don't see guys holding it like this is because whenever you go and you change to the next target, you've got all that inertia out there ahead of your hand. It's just like a lever. I mean, it's leverage on all that weight is leverage on you. So whenever you get it to swinging, it's stopping it that you go past your target and have to come back. Whereas if you have a rope grip out here, whenever you can drive that gun right on target. I mean, you just, wherever you want to go, you drive and you don't have to go and then come back searching. This gun's light enough that I would be able to shoot it from here and go right on. You still got a little bit of that, you know, where your sights do that just hair, but like I say, I mean, I'm very, 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 very pleased with this so far. So I can't wait to get out and shoot it and see how it does. It's going to be a lot of fun. And just finished up the 300 blackout build. This one's going to be a fun one to shoot as well. We'll see how they do. I've got a lower for this 300 blackout, so I'm going to be mating it to and everything. But for now, I just had the everything for the upper. I'm looking for trigger components. You know, I don't want to really do the regular mil-spec trigger components. You know, just run a line, just cheap stuff. But I don't want to spend, you know, $300 on a Geisley like what I've got in my 3G. So, like what I've done in this gun, the QMS, the quality mil-spec trigger, that'd be good. If I found a mil-spec, I'd just, you know, clean it up myself. But if anybody's got trigger, I don't care what it is, AR trigger out there, they want to get rid of, give me a holler, let me know. Might be interested in it.